Hello, how's it going, everybody going? Um, so uh this is going to be a little bit more of a raw video because as you guys can probably tell, I'm actually out of town right now. I'm getting ready to go attend a baby shower in Richmond, Virginia. But I wanted to give my thoughts after having time to think over the Blackmagic announcements. First off, I want to thank everybody who joined my live stream. I know it was a really long time before it got to what everybody really, really wanted to talk about, which of course was the cameras. But I still want to thank all of you guys for joining that live stream of mine. And there's quite a lot to go into, so obviously I'm not going to go into everything. Um, but I'll go into Resolve when I get back, when I actually got more time to look at Resolve 20 and give my thoughts on that. Today, I'm going to focus on the camera, my reactions and my initial thoughts on the camera announcements. Um, Start off with the big one, and no, it's not the Pyxis 12K. Actually, it's the fact that we're getting autofocus in the Blackmagic ecosystem. We're getting Blackmagic cameras that have continuous autofocus. I'll be honest, that was not on my bingo card. I will happily admit that. So, but to get the chance to have autofocus, I know it's a big deal. I will say I've started to move away from autofocus. I still use it, especially with my FX6, with my Zeiss Batis lenses. But I've gotten more into cinema lenses where because I do love the control of manual focus lenses. um, However, the idea of just being able to in those times when autofocus is helpful, where you can use it, especially when you can use something on small lenses like mirrorless lenses. I think this was something that I think a lot of people have been anticipating. I could have sworn Grant Petty said that the beta for the Cinema Camera 6K was out, but when I went to go to the support page to try to find the beta for it, I couldn't find it. So I don't know if it's out for beta testing yet. I've reached out to my Black Magic rep to see what was up with that. I haven't heard back, but as soon as I hear back and as soon as I can get my hands on that beta, because I do have the Cinema Camera 6K full frame, I will definitely give you guys updates on that. Uh, so but I know. Let's get into the Pyxis 12K. So after a night of post hype clarity, what are my thoughts? Um, it honestly went a lot of the ways of what I anticipated. I anticipated that it was going to have some frame rate limitations, and even though everybody was buzzing around that, oh, it's going to have built-in NDs, I was just like, I was very skeptical that it was going to have built-in NDs because by all accounts, it looked like it was going to have the same body. The only thing I could have thought is like, okay, maybe they're offering an interchangeable version of the Pyxis where they're going to have these new mounts for PL and EF, and they'll have NDs built into those. Obviously, that's not the case. There's as as I anticipated, there is no built-in NDs, but you are getting the 12K sensor from the Ursa City 12K in the Pyxis body. Now, is that enough? Yes, of course it is enough. It absolutely is enough. I've been hearing a lot of channels sort of kind of find a ways to sort of, I don't know if they're just trying to hedge or try to get their audience to not purchase it, so maybe they can get it themselves and get first dibs on it. Because I do know a lot of channels that actually do that. Or they're just trying to, maybe they bought the Pyxis and they're trying to give reasons of keeping it. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. And again, I've had a whole night to think things over. The Pyxis 12K is almost practically a better camera in every shape or form compared to the Pyxis 6K. And the reason being is because I know people talk about the 12K, and it continues to frustrate me because it's like anybody that just simply does research will realize you never have to touch the 12K in your entire of owning the camera. And it's the wrong question of who needs 12K? That's the wrong question. And there's a value system beyond that. And the value system and the right question is, what other camera manufacturer that you know is going to be offering 8K full frame 3x2 open gate at 72 frames a second with internal RAW that can provide 16-bit depth of color that's under $5,000? Go on. I'll wait. Oh, right. There isn't. There isn't another camera that does that. Anywhere close. There's nothing in closer. We're literally talking about specs. You can look at this, or even let's go even further. Name me another camera that just simply does 4K, that has full frame 4K 3x2 open gate up to 72 frames a second that can shoot full frame 4K horizontally wise at 112 frames a second with internal RAW with 16-bit depth of color, 16 plus stops of dynamic range, and costs under $5,000. And what we are going to know that's going to happen, it's just not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it comes out with autofocus. What other camera brand can match that offering? There just isn't. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Is the fact that there is so many options. You can just basically, it's really 4 cameras in one. You got a 4K, you got a poor man's 4K Alexa LF, you got a poor man's 8K Sony Venice 2, you have a uh you have a poor man's red, I think it's like the red Rhino, whatever it was, that Super 35 8K, or even the red helium. You got a poor man's red helium. I guess it would be about the same price now, just given how prices of red cameras are falling. But you're getting a poor man's red Rhino Super 35 8K camera for under $5,000. Like, these are the cameras that this camera competes against in performance, in image quality, throughout the nine. So when I say that the Pyxis 12K is better than the Pyxis 6K in every way, it really is. I saw someone try to make the argument that the Pyxis 6K has higher frame rates. While technically that is true, it has higher frame rates. What the person failed to mention was the fact that 120 frames a second is only in HD and it's only in Super 16 mode, which, for those of you that may not know, that's smaller than 1-inch size sensors. So that's a bit disingenuous, in my personal opinion, when you're comparing it to a camera that can deliver 8K in full width, full frame at 112 frames a second. That's a huge difference in terms of what we're talking about, both in terms of an image quality and optical performance. So it has the better resolution, it has the better frame rates, it had, even from a hardware point, it has 10G Ethernet port, so you can offload the files significantly faster than the Pyxis 6K. Dynamic range, it has, from Blackmagic's terms, it has 3 additional stops of dynamic range, better performance. If you look at some of the testings people have done of the Ursa Cine 12K with the Pyxis, you will note it's even better in low light, or it has better noise performance up to 1600 ISO compared to the Pyxis, even though the Pyxis is a dual native ISO sensor. And by the way, that's not a knock on the Pyxis. I think the Pyxis gets a bad rep because people don't really understand how ISO works on Blackmagic cameras fully, and they're just going off of like Panasonic and Sony cameras of how dual native ISO works. That's not they don't behave same. But it actually is really good. The Pyxis is actually really solid. It has really solid performance. You just need to know how to light it and light it properly. It's not designed to crank up the ISO. It's designed to give you different um different latitude performances that is optically best for different scenarios. Just and I'll make a whole video about that as well. So if you guys are interested about it, leave your comments if you want sort of a little bit more of an elaboration on that. So, so me personally, it's really exciting, and it's a day one buy. I'm not gonna pre-order it though. I'm just gonna get it straight up when it starts coming out. Um, And some people thinking, "Oh, you're gonna wait." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not gonna wait," because people. The same thing happened when the original Pocket 4K came out, where everybody pre-ordered, and although they pre-ordered, I actually got the camera before everybody. I had my ways. Um, I'm excited. It's the camera that I wanted. Um, and so now it's kind of like, is it my in-game camera compared to the Ursa City 12K? That is an interesting question. But I will say yes, because I will say, while you know there's projects, and I definitely do have a lot of projects where there's larger crews are involved in First AC, and the Ursa City 12K will be better utilized, or maybe there's projects that will require those super high frame rates. Um, that, but in relationship to projects that I do more owner operating, um, it's less compared to that. So for me, for what the majority of my work does, the Pyxis 12K is my in-game camera. And then combined with the fact that we know that even though they were saying they're starting with their cinema camera 6K full frame, they're going to put autofocus in this Pyxis 12K. They're going to put it in the Pyxis 6K, and they'll probably even put it in the Ursa City 12K as well. But for me, it's even a better buy for me personally than even the Ursa City 12K, because of that L mount option. Um, that's because it opens up way more possibilities of lens options, because I just love tinkering with different lenses, and I don't want to be tied down to a single mount system. I want a system that I can basically go, and I can, if I want to be creative and be small with it, I can. And if I want to, need something for a major project where I need some more consistency and a select style of lenses, I can do that as well. And you can do that with the L mount port. The only thing is, it's like seeing that announcement now, to me, the bigger question to me is, why didn't Blackmagic choose Canon RF mounts? Because, like, especially given the fact that they're now coming out with this new top handle and side handle, which, by the way, this is what I predicted I predicted would come about it, because I said when the Pyxis 6K first out, I was like, man, if they just made a side handle that had a zoom rocker handle, that would be perfect. And they did it. Um, but also the top handle is really dope too, with the backside EVF. That is, like, I wasn't anticipating that, but that is they basically turning the Pyxis and even the Pyxis 12K, because they're the same body, so they'll work both with both. You can turn this camera essentially into a handy cam, which I know a lot of people are probably not looking at it, and they're kind of like rolling their eyes off, like this is kind of silly. I think this is fantastic. I think this is a lot more discreet. I think this will get you to be a looking. It looks like it could be potentially more discreet, be more touristy, versus, with a big old screen and looking at map boxes like that. That will, I think, draw more attention than having a camera that looks like some just a little larger handycam. So for me, That I think that is a great thing. I think though $900 for the top panel, I I'll say this. My first initial reaction, and it's still kind of that way. I'm like, man, that's a lot of money for a top handle. But as many of the people on my live stream mentioned, you are getting an EVF, which if you look at Blackmagic, usually they're like $1,500 just for the EVF. You're getting that. You're getting a top handle that gives you control, a record button control, as well as a zoom rocker, and you're getting a stereo mic attachment. Like for running gun scenarios, yeah, I'll be honest, yeah, that does look like that would be a much better option for some things. I may even get it just for the few weddings that I still do. So overall, my thoughts are I'm truly am excited. The frame rates of the Pyxis 12K is just what I need. It's everything I wanted. It's get my 3x2 so I can do anamorphics and shoot all the different aspect ratios. It is damn near close to the perfect camera for me. Do I wish it had built-in these? Of course I do. Well, like everybody else, we want it all. We're selfish. But honestly, at the price of $5,000, again, the value of that camera compared to everything else on the market, there literally isn't anything on the market that produces something like it at its price point. You have to go significantly higher. And we're not even talking about the readout speeds, which are like only second to cameras like the Venice. I mean, they're damn near global shutter performing readout speeds. So for me, it's like this camera ticks every single box. And then on top of the fact that they are implementing autofocuses on their cameras, that's just another tick in the box. Even though I won't always use autofocus, but when I will use it, it's going to be sweet. But this is my thoughts on the Blackmagic Pyxis announcement and the camera updates. I would love to know what you guys do. Are you excited? Are you going to get yourself a Pyxis 12K? Let me know. Leave your comments down below. And as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, take care, everyone.